Right now, in this reality, this physical reality, you are in a video game. When you chose to come here, you chose what you were going to go through. You chose what you were going to try to overcome. You chose all of this. A lot of people, you will hear a lot of people, especially when they're young and they go through things with their family, their mother, their father, all these things, and they be like, I didn't choose to be here. I didn't choose. Yeah, you did. Yep. You chose this. You chose this. It's up to you to play the game now. You got the controller. You got to learn this. Now, who's a Soul Traveler 777? I messed his name up in one of the videos. He said it in one of the live streams that him and Alchemist did about the game. And he is so 100% correct. You chose to play this game. You chose this. Coming out your body is a cheat code to understanding, having out-of-body experiences. Now, he didn't say this part, and this is just my opinion when it comes to my experiences. Having out-of-body experiences is like, you know how people, when they go through things in their life, they got to go seek therapy, and they need to. Out-of-body experiences is like your own form of therapy. And the reason I say that is because you will be faced with everything. You will be faced with all of your problems. Say, for instance, if you have a problem with detachment or letting go of things, or you have a problem with loving somebody and this and that, those will be brought up as tests because you need to get over those things to get to the next level. So when you having these experiences, eventually you will start to have experiences if you start to really get down in there and really start doing the work. The work is going to come to you that you need to do to yourself. You will have an experience where you got to face your fears. You'll have an experience where you have to face your traumas. That's where reoccurring dreams come from. When people be like, man, I just keep having this dream. It's a reoccurring dream, and they're not understanding why they keep having this reoccurring dream. That reoccurring dream is something that you got to face. It's either a fear, it's something dealing with you that you have to face. I used to have a reoccurring dream when I was younger, and it was the stupidest dream once I realized that, oh, this is what it is. Now, I was real young when this dream, I was like in elementary. And I used to always have this dream where I would come in the house and it was this big old like suitcase box thing there. And I would hear like my family members in there, and they'll be, let us out. And I'll be like, what the fuck? And it used to creep me out. And I would run out of that room, and I'd go to the back room, and I'm like, I ain't dealing with this. I need to wake up. But I would keep having this dream, until one day I had the dream, and I was like, hold on, let me see what this is. Like, I became conscious in the dream. I was conscious anyway because it was the, reoccurring, and it was a lucid dream, but it was the fear that I needed to get over. So when I went to the box, I'm like, they like, let me out. I went to the box. I was like, you know what? Let me cut the box open and see what's in this box. I went and I cut the box open, and it was just like normal. They just hopping out the box like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, I've been terrified of this stupid dream for so long, and all I had to do was cut the box open. It was stupid. Dumbest dream. Now, to some people, that might be like, that was dumb. And to me, too, it was like, that was dumb. But it was a fear that I had in elementary. You got to think I was a child. But it was a fear, and it was unknown. It was the fear of the unknown. Like, what is going on? Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in this. But after I did that and I conquered that fear, I stopped having it. And that happened multiple times with certain dreams. And you will be faced with those things in out-of-body states and in dreams. And the dreams is like the subconscious mind. So you're going to really deal with a lot of your own traumas and a lot of your own deals, your demons and all that stuff within those dreams. That's why I say it's like your own form of therapy. And it's up to you if you're going to pass those tests. They're going to keep coming no matter what. Eventually, you're going to pass those tests, hopefully. Maybe not. No, just playing. But this reality is just a video game. And once you start having these experiences, you'll start to realize that there are parallel realities to this. And in another reality, it's something that you're dealing with in your life right now, and you're blaming somebody else. It's my mama's fault, the reason I'm dealing with this, why I have anxiety. It's my daddy's fault, the reason why I have attachment issues. It's this. And when you have these experiences, you'll realize that those problems that you have did not just start here. They started in another life that you lived. You had that same issue in another life. So when you came here, you chose to deal with that again so that you can try to conquer that and get over it and realize that it really does not matter, though. And a lot of things you'll realize in these out-of-body experiences might seem heartless to some people, because you, like, it's certain things. It's like growing up, I'm from like I was raised around a lot of gangs and stuff. So growing up, it's always fight. You gonna fight unless you just gonna get bullied. So it developed a deal where it's like, I'm fighting. Till I got to a point where I'm having these experiences. I was having the experiences where I was fighting and I was fighting and I was fighting. And that experience taught me it's not even worth it. Like, what you fighting out of fear. Like, I would, like, literally, like, I wasn't fighting because I was the biggest, baddest person, or I felt like I could beat everybody up. I was fighting because I was afraid. I was afraid of getting beat up. I was afraid of getting bullied every day. I was afraid of a lot of things. So when it came down to somebody doing something to me or trying something with me, and I'm like, nope, not letting it go. It was straight fear that made me react and do what I did. But as I became older and I started realizing certain things, it's like somebody could be saying something to me mad disrespectful, and I'll be like, it actually takes more power in me to say, I ain't worried about it. It takes a weaker man to punch you in your mouth when you say something, because it takes more power for you to be like, I ain't gonna deal with that. Because I'm gonna tell you, like, somebody talking crazy to me and I be like, I ain't gonna deal with that, I'm still gonna think about it. The immature person in me, the unevolved person in me is still gonna think about it, like, man, I should have punched him in the mouth. But the evolved person is saying, it takes real strength to walk away. It takes real strength to be like, that ain't worth it, because it's not. It's not worth it. What are those words doing to you? They're not doing nothing to you. Like, it only if you allow them to. Just like in the outer body, like, that fear, once you start to fear, that's when it starts to affect you, because you have that fear in you. When you no longer have that fear in you, you do what you want. You have fun. You kick it. I've been in parties. I done done a lot of stuff in out of body experiences. Like, a lot of people be traveling and going to other countries, and that's amazing. But I done been places that a lot of people ain't been. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it feels realer than this. Now, it's just so much when you're dealing with, even with death. Some people would think you're insensitive, like, especially me now. Like, now, prior, like, younger, like, death really messed with me. But when I started realizing more about death, meeting people that I knew that passed away on the other side, and realizing, man, this ain't it. This ain't it. We sit and we try to hold on to the people that passed away, where they ain't passed away. They still living. They just transitioned into another frequency, a better one. They kicking it, having fun, and you sitting over here miserable, crying every day. You ain't letting go. You gotta let go. Because at the end of the day, the same way that I could go, like, my daddy passed away, the same way I could talk to my daddy on the phone, or I could call him, or I could go see him if I want to, in the physical reality. I could leave my body and I could talk to him and I can go see him if he's hasn't reincarnated. I'll just say that if he hasn't reincarnated, because sometimes you not being able to see people because they reincarnated, they just came back, but you can see them again. It's somebody right now. It's a mother right now, and I ain't saying specifics. I'm just saying this is hypothetically, and it might be true for somebody. I think, and I believe it is, but it's a mother right now that had a baby that she lost when it was a baby, and she still thinks about, and my son, I lost him when he was a baby, and all he did was turn right back around and come right back, and he's living in the house, got a room and everything. He living in that house whole time. That's the baby that you had the miscarriage, or the baby that got unalived, came right back through your womb and is living in your house right now. You sad about it still, because you like, oh, my son, I remember my son, he passed away, because you just don't know. Or he could have been born to your sister. He might be your sister's baby this time, but he probably came right back. That's just a possibility. Somebody's upset that their father passed away, but their father is sitting right in the baby crib and they feeding that baby every day. They rocking that baby to sleep every day. They taking that baby to daycare. They taking that baby to their first day of school. You got to pay attention. Like my nephew, when he was little, I was just swear like he act like my grandpa. I seen my grandpa after he passed away, and I talked to him and all that stuff, but after that I've never seen him again. But when I would see him when he was little, my grandpa used to hold his hand like this. And from when he was a baby, he would hold his hand like this. And I was like, I used to always think that in my head, like, that might be grandpa right there. And it's possible. You know what I'm saying? He could have came back as my sister's baby, my sister's child. He not grandpa no more. He nephew. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is when he was a baby, you know how sometimes kids, like, they don't know you, so they be looking at you crazy. Soon as I met my nephew when he was a baby, he already liked me. And me and my grandpa was cool. I was always have my grandpa laughing and stuff, even when he was old. Like I walk in there, he couldn't speak, he couldn't walk. I'll go in there and just say stupid stuff. He'd be in there cracking up laughing. But yeah, it's just so much stuff. When you start to tap into who you are and what is real, a lot of things is gonna fade away. I got homeboys right now that be like, man, I just can't get over the fact that my homeboy died or this and that, because you don't realize death doesn't exist. Yeah, we're gonna be sad. We're gonna go to the funeral, be sad because they're not here anymore as the person they was. How you looked at. You can't go kick it with them. You can't take them to the bar with you. You can't do that. I get it. But they living better now. In some ways, we be sad out of selfishness. They living better now. And the problem is the religious views that people have is that they do not, they sad because they like, oh man, I wonder if they in a better place. If you notice, every time they be like, I just hope they doing better and they in a better place. You know what I'm saying? Then you got some religious people that are super religious, they be like, they don't have no clue. They be super religious, and everybody that died went to heaven. But they super religious and they believe in heaven and hell, but they don't believe that when somebody die, he in a better place. He killed 70 people. If your belief system is right, he is in hell. All right, let me stop. But hey, that's your belief system. But the craziest thing for some people to understand and realize, and that might be hurtful to some people, it might be somebody that killed your brother. I mean, that unalived your brother, that unalived your brother. Or somebody that's a serial killer. Somebody that's a murderer that didn't go to hell like you thought. They in a better, they that's what they had to, they was the villain in his life. And when you start to see other lives that you live, you'll realize you might have been a villain too. I've seen a past life of mine where I was a villain, a menace. I'm talking about like that. Like, and it also brought up things that's in me now, because I used to have a really short temper. And in that experience, I had a really short temper. But it all stemmed from the beginning stages of fear. All that craziness, all that doing all that crazy stuff and hurting people and this and that stemmed from fear. When I realized if somebody feared me, it made me feel safer, because they was less likely to try to do something to me if they was in fear of me. But at the end of it all, the fear that they had for me got me killed in that past life. The fact that they feared me meant they needed to take me out. So you learn things on the other side that you need to learn so that you can evolve and be better. Each life is for you to gather information, learn, and be better. So be better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna try to do more detailed videos, but I just been trying to like get things off of my chest and off my head while I'm on my little breaks and stuff at work. So I'm gonna try to do more detailed videos when I have time to actually sit down in the house and make a video. But man, get back to your power. Get back to you. Get back to figuring out this life, this game. And like Soul Traveler 77 said, hey, figure out the cheat code. Figure out the cheat code. You did.